Good morning, everybody. I'm just sitting down at the bench this morning. I thought I'd do a video on this watch that I got on eBay. Here are some of the parts, and I'll quickly go over what's going on with this watch. So it came partially assembled, and here are the two plates. So some of the issues you're going to find with some of these old fusee watches are, for instance, here, center wheel bushing machine and pressed in. Now, this is the center wheel that came with the watch. Does not belong to the watch because there's no end shake in this when the plates are together. So it's a little too tall. And also, it does not fit very well into this other plate, bottom plate. The pivot is way too small for the hole that's there for the bearing hole, and it's super sloppy. Couple of other things you'll get with an eBay watch. I mean, not everything that comes with one of these old fusees is part of the watch, and I'll go over that in a minute. The pillars come loose, so they all need to be restaked and fixed back in place. Even if you have all the pivots and the bushings nice and tight and with great clearance, if these pillars are loose, with the force of the mainspring, the main barrel and the fusee will cock, and it will push the plate and cause the wheels to get cocked and not run smoothly in their pivot holes. And you can see it's just a matter of a little bit of hammer time, mushrooming out these ends to tighten them up. This watch had a hack function which doesn't work because the little spring that stops the escapement is missing. If I turn this plate over, you'll see more of previous watchmakers' work, and I'll zoom in a little bit. So as you can see, hammer time, lots of hammer time, pivot holes that are no longer working. Here's a pivot bushing that was pressed in for the center wheel, and it's too far pushed into the plate, so I could push this back to give some clearance and some end shake to the center wheel. Even though the center wheel is not from this watch, I'll make a bushing for the other side and adjust the end shake with this setup. More hammer time. This is the regulating mechanism for fast or slow. It's a spring fit into the movement, and it was hammer timed to keep it in place. Here we go with the fusee stop works. So this is sitting flat against the plate. It should not be. It actually should sit up a little bit. So the spring is dead, not working at all. So see some of the things you're going to find on these older watches: a lot of wear, a lot of scratch marks, a lot of damage, and a lot of bad repairs. There's the center wheel, not from this watch. The fusee cone looks okay. Everything seems to be working, and it all seems to be there. The chain is pretty flexible, a little rusty, needs some oiling, but other than that, not in bad shape. This is the balance that came with the watch, but didn't quite fit the watch properly. So what I had to do was unmount everything from the actual balance staff, and I machined a whole new balance staff and refitted the wheel and the hairspring and the impulse roller. And one of the things with the impulse roller was it's an older style, and consequently it has a round impulse jewel. So that actually fell out and it had to be re-shellacked back into its mount. The hairspring seems to be a little too short, which is kind of the case. They break from pinning and unpinning and repinning so many times. The ends break off, so the watch tends to run a little bit fast. And unless you can find a spring, you just have to compensate that with the adjustment. Beautiful balance cock with lovely detail. Again, as you can see on the plate over here, if I flip it over again, you can see some more repairs where the screw holes get so worn from the screws coming in and out, and possibly screws being lost and not great replacements being put back, that the previous watchmakers, one of them decided to punch the hole to narrow it so that the threads would grip. And that's one issue I'm having with the balance cock screw here, is that if you over tighten it, it's going to strip, but we'll deal with that. The barrel has had repairs. It has a new spring hook end. Pretty big, ugly looking thing, but it works. This pivot, as I said, fits into the main plate. Actually, the bridge, it fits into this hole right here, and I pressed the bushing in here and reamed it to fit because it was completely floating in this huge hole. So I'm not sure if even the barrel is from this watch. I think somebody just found a bunch of parts that seemed to fit between the plates and just tried to build a watch, and I will complete it, I guess, because that's what I like to do. So anyway, this bushing was machined up and it was pressed in, and it was also left a little long to reduce the end shake. So it's proud of the bottom of the plate just to help with the end shake to keep it in tolerance. This is the stop works for the fusee cone. There's a ratchet system in there. The spring is super tired, does not do its job in holding this finger into the ratchet in the fusee cone. So I'll address that. This is the hinge plate and also the plate that the dial mounts to, not from the watch. The watch is a G Emmett and this says SW. So somebody just found a plate that fit the size of the watch with a hinge on it, soldered some feet on it. There should be 3, not 2. Bad solder job, so that somebody could make this watch work and put it on eBay and try to sell it for, you know, more money than it's actually worth. I've got some of the parts. I'll have to restake the cannon pinion. Here we go with the lever. It's actually not bad. The jewels look good. The pivots look good. The wheels look good. The pivots look good. No damage to teeth that I can see. So this is what you can get and look forward to when you buy an old fusee watch on eBay. And it looks complete and it's maybe partially assembled, but the parts are not all from the same watch. So I will fit them all together, make it work, and get it running, try to find a dial for it and hands and make a nice movement out of this. And that'll be my experience in watchmaking. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.